here. There was, as you know, there was an article in the Mirror this morning, and as a result, we had to clarify a few things before we went on the press conference. Anyway, we're here today. We've got our show on the 21st of September, which is the first professional boxing they've had at the Copper Box Arena at Queen Elizabeth Park here in Stratford, and we've got a cracking build here. Fights that are confirmed are the light middleweight championship of Great Britain between champion Billy Joe Saunders against Islington's John Ryder. We've got Dereck Chisora, who may be fighting for the European title. We'll know that next week. He has been nominated, he's now the official contender, and we're going to know next week where we are with that. Or he will fight a top 10 rated heavyweight. We've got a cracking fight for the Commonwealth and vacant WBO International Super Featherweight title between Walsh and Joe Murray, which is a fight I'm really looking forward to. And Frankie Gavin will defend, the unbeaten Frankie Gavin will defend his British and Commonwealth title on the same bill. And again, we will hope to have that sorted out in the next day or so. We also have the Commonwealth Light Middleweight Championship between Liam Smith and Obidaya Saeed from Accra in Ghana. A vacant Southern Area Super Featherweight title between Mitchell Smith and Scott Moises, and Frank Bullioni and Josh Lever will be making his ABA champion, making his professional debut. As I've said at the previous press conference here, it's a great pleasure to be making to be involved and promoting the first boxing year, which is what it's all about, the Olympic venues being used for other sports, and we talked before what happens as regards this, any income that comes in from here, some that gets used in helping other sports, and that is great. That's what this is all about as far as these venues, and I'm so very delighted to be involved. But the fights here, if you look at them, there are a lot of unbeaten fighters fighting each other. Billy Joe Saunders, 18-0, you've got John Ryder, 15-0. You've got Liam Walsh, 14-0, you've got Joe Murray, 14-0. You know, they're two quality fights. I hear all the time we try to stop fighters fighting each other, keeping them apart, keeping perfect records. Well, that's something that I certainly love doing. It's something that in the past we've managed to achieve in getting the best fighting the best. And these youngsters here are involved in will be involved in some good, in the good fights here. Dereck, he had a fabulous performance, I thought, last time out. He was a bit shaky in the first couple of rounds, in as much that I think there was a lot of pressure on him. It was a fight that he couldn't afford to lose. Had he lost that fight, I think he'd really struggled to find his way back into the top echelon of heavyweight boxing. But he's there now. It was a good win. All the controversy about the count and so forth, I think is ridiculous. At the end of the day, referee stood in front of him. He counted 9 to his fingers. As he rose, it was all over, and he did not complain one bit. He was pleased to be out there. As far as I'm concerned, Dereck now has to move on, and he is not far away if he keeps winning and fighting for a world title. There's no doubt about it. He will get it, and it's my job to make sure that happens. As I said, he's got the European to look forward to, or he will fight the top 10 contender. Everybody's here, but before you speak to him, I'd like Phil Lake wants to say something, which I'm sure he does.
Thanks very much, Frank. Welcome to the Copper Box Arena. It really is a delight to be here with Frank and his team going to announce these fights. As you know, we opened the arena to the public on Saturday for the first time, and we had 10,000 people over the weekend onto the floor of that arena playing sport. And that was fantastic. There were little kids and grandmothers and granddads. They're playing all sorts of different sports and really enjoying what is the true legacy. But we always said this arena would be a multi-purpose arena. It was about community sport, and I think we're delivering on that. But it's also about promoting the very best in sport, the top-class, high-level sport that we know we can produce in this country. And Frank's announcement of these fights today really does sum up that legacy piece, I think. It's an absolutely fantastic bill. As a boxing fan, I'm really excited by what I see here. It's great to be sat on this top table with some great fighters too. And we think that mix of community sport and top class events is only going to promote more and more participation of the young people of this country in the sports that we want them to be part of. So we're delighted that GLL is supporting this initiative. We're delighted to welcome Frank and the team here. We have an agreement, as was said previously, for a number of events. So it's going to be a long-term relationship, and I'm sure that's going to mean that the Copbox Arena is a true example of a legacy venue that doesn't turn out to be a white elephant.
Thanks for it, and I agree with everything that's said there. It will be a long-term relationship. 6 top quality events a year. We've got 6 title fights on the very first show. So, and they will be competitive. This place will be rocking. This box, as they call it, will be rocking on the 21st. And tickets are really going well, going fast. This will be sold out, and I can assure you there's going to be a fabulous atmosphere here. It lends itself to boxing. It's a giant version of your call. If you look at it, you look how the rake of the seats, how everybody overlooks the ring. It's going to be a fabulous environment here, and the fighters will feed off of it. They'll feed off the crowd. They'll get more out of them, and everybody's going to get thoroughly entertained on the 21st.
I hope you haven't sold all the tickets, Frank, because there were 2 ladies in their 70s here on Saturday who said they can't wait to see the boxing here. They come from Chelmsford, and I said, well, you let me know, and I'll make sure you can come and see the fight.
They can be my guest when we come.
Little 70.
What's your one?
I've got a really lucky one now.
Right then, are there any questions?
Yeah, can you confirm the capacity, Frank? Okay, for
It's just shy of 7,500.
Frank, you said before the Mallet Scott fight that Dereck's credibility was on the line. What do you think that win has done for him?
His credibility is there now. He went out there and done it. I mean, it was a difficult. I know I'll repeat myself. I thought for him it was a really difficult fight mentally. No one wants to fight the guy, and you could see the first couple of rounds he's very slick. He's a good mover. I just felt that Dereck, with his fitness regime, which Don Charles has done a fabulous job with him. Getting that weight off. He's a different man at that weight, and I just thought those couple of rounds it took for him to get a little bit of rust out of his system. I thought he then started rising to his task, and he hunted him down. And at the end of the day, he didn't want to know. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. When fighters don't complain when the referee stops the fight, and to me, he's just a niner. He got up at 9. He could have got up at any time if he wanted to get up when he was on one knee, and he chose not to do that. And the reason he chose not to do it is because this guy broke his heart, and he got caught, he got hurt, and he got hurt a couple of times to the body. So at the end of the day, Dereck, set out on his mission. It was accomplished, and now we're on to the next one.
What is the situation in the European title? Who's the champion now? Who's the champion?
Well, we know that he is the champion, but they've got something going on. With this Thompson fight, so we'll see. And whether they want to risk the fight, but at the end of the day, he's the number one. He will fight for the title, and as I say, hopefully we'll get that sorted out in the next. The latest is next week. The first bit's next week. So one way or another, it's got to be sorted out.
Dereck, how big a change have you made to your lifestyle?
What do you mean by that? Boxing wise or
Boxing wise and personally?
Basically, we started training at 10 o'clock in the morning. I changed my diet. I got this company called Soulmate Food. It's been great, and my family's been amazing for me. So everything has been going well for the last 2 months of preparation for this fight. After my last fight in Wembley with the guy from Argentina, I looked at myself on telly, and I was turning off after 1 round because I knew that was not me in that ring. So I said to myself, I want to train more and harder, and that's what I'm doing now.
How many more fights would you like before challenging for the world title?
Hey, listen, everybody's saying here we're in the fighting game. We're not like we go to the office every day. If we have to fight every week, I think all of us will take that because we like fighting. And for me, Frank knows me already. I like fighting. So anytime, any day, I don't need I don't need to ducking around to say I'm going to fight this guy before I get to the world title fight. If I had to fight for a world title fight right now, yes, I would do it.
Would it be fair to say, Frankie, that likewise you're happier now than you've ever been since turning pro with your lifestyle and the way you've progressed in the last few months?
Oh yeah, I'm like a monk now considering when I first went. I'm like a monk now considering when I first went pro.
Yeah.
That's thanks to Tom Chaney, obviously. Everything's changed for me. My lifestyle, now I'm with my family, my 2 kids. Rarely you'll see me out training harder than I've ever trained. My first few years as a pro, partly my own fault. I didn't do circuits or nothing. I didn't care about strength training. I just thought, I've got skills, I've just got to keep improving on my boxing skills. Then I realised you have to run at certain times, do certain running, do certain weights, do certain strengths, do certain dieting. And now it's just all coming together now, just sound like Dereck said now. I know I'm in a position now where I'm not far off a world title shot. If it come knocking at the door tomorrow, I'd jump at it straight away.
We made a £100,000 offer to Kell Brooks to fight him. As I said, they've got a big name for Kell Brooks for his next fight. It is a big name. He scores about 200 on a Scrabble board, but whether he's a big name as far as British boxing is concerned, Kell Brook and Frankie would have been a fabulous fight. They're the fights the fans want to see. Every offer we make for a fight, they keep getting refused. And I'll tell you why they get refused. And the only people who suffer from that are the fans and the boxers. But we made the offer, it's a written offer, and it was turned down, which is a great shame. But you know what? Frank is, it's like Billy Joe. He's an Olympian. They've been there. Just showing up at the being at the Olympics, even if you're successful at the Olympics or if you had a good time, that doesn't guarantee you're going to do well as a professional boxer. We've seen that happen with so many different fighters. This is a different game. They're 4.5 years on from the Olympics, the both of them. They're both on the cusp of something really big. Bill's got to get past John Ryder. That's going to be a tough fight. On paper, it's a tough fight. 2 undefeated fighters. I obviously fancy my man badly to win this fight, and I'm sure he'll come through. And if he does, we're going to get into some serious fights with him. And Frank, I've got to tell you now, I think, not even 1 or 2 more fights. If we can get the right fights for him, I would make him against Kell Brooks next week if I could make it. At the weight next week, and he's a new man. I was quite surprised what he did with Denton Vassell. Again, he was 2 undefeated fighters. He went into that fight against Denton Vassell. A lot of people fancied Vassell may win it, but there was only one man at the races, and that was him.
Frankie, you've got 3 members on the table here who are in the 2008 Olympic team. How would you compare that Olympic team to the one we've just had? Some of the best there.
I know they've done better at this Olympics, but at home you get more. You think why not? But I honestly think our team was probably better than that team, and that's not like him being big-headed or whatever. I know I never went there in the end through weight or whatever, but I do think our team was better. But at the end of the day, that team got more medals and they've done it at home, so they deserve all the credit they get.
That team as well. Also, you didn't have to qualify. The British, I think, how many weights they do, how many pounds? 6, was it?
I think they all
They all
qualified.
qualified.
But still, even that the pressure wasn't on for them to qualify, sort of thing. They knew they had their place already booked. So there was turn-up tournaments, which when you ain't got pressure on you, you can box. But it was a good team now. They've got more medals than the 2008.
They should do.
But
But don't forget the investment in the 2012 team was based on the success of the 2008 team.
Correct, yeah.
So actually, every facility was put in front of them based on these guys' success.
Joe, what's your?
I think they both had good teams. They both won and got medals, and they both come back with glory. And I think every boxer who gets to the Olympics needs respect, and I think that's what you need.
And you look at that fight. You look at Joe's fight. Liam's a fantastic fighter. He's had a few injuries. He's done well. He was supposed to fight for a world title himself. Joe came with us. He said 2 fights that he wants a title fight. He's got it. I mean, this is what it's all about. This is where we are now. These are guys that have had good grounding, and they're all ready to go on to the next level. They're all ready. Dereck's been there. But Dereck went there too soon. And the reason he went there too soon was basically was down to me. I just wanted to roll the dice with him against Klitschko, and I felt that I mean, he went into that fight, I don't think anybody gave him an earthly, didn't think he'd go past 4 rounds, but I knew he'd give him problems. I felt in my heart he'd give him problems. And I'll tell you something, if it's the Dereck Chisora today fighting him, I'd have a bet on him. I wouldn't make Klitschko a big thing to beat him again. I mean that.
Dereck, can you clear up what did happen in Ibiza?
Asking that answer.
I've just got my lawyers fighting out right now, so I can't really answer that right now.
There was no brawl.
Do you fancy a shot of Klitschko in the ring at least?
Yeah, one of these days, yeah, why not?
Billy, can you just talk about this fight with John coming up? It could be one